so I can see the chat myself.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. We're live. We're live. What's up, everybody?
What's good, bro?
So I see that Amelia loves Ariel has been back posting stuff.
Yes,
Thought that was quite funny.
I may have seen a couple of the shorts.
Yeah.
You know what though? It's good that she's doing something, I guess.
Well, she didn't have to run away. Just had to apologize to everybody, but you know.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, live and let live.
Yeah. Okay. Why is it not going to my live? There we go. Oh, it doesn't say the goal thing, does it?
It does. I can see it on my my ends. I can see that you set the goal of a Hangouts Q&A.
Oh, okay. Then it's on there, but it doesn't show on mine for some reason. Skywalker, what's going on, buddy?
What's good, Skywalker? You are, I believe, the first guest.
No, you were.
Okay, I was, but when the live stream started.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man.
So how was your weekend going so far?
Horrible.
Oh,
I have so much to do, bro. I have this company coming in to determine if I can have this power wheelchair thing.
okay.
And doesn't hold up to their standards. I'm kind of screwed. And I have totes piled up to the ceiling. And I use my little bit of a kitchen to do all my streaming in. So I got to take all this down. I have to try to pack more stuff up before they come. So I have enough room to do a circle in my kitchen.
I see. Right. So that, I think that contributed to what you said earlier in the week that you may not be able to stream.
Yep.
I understand. So
If I don't get it done by this weekend, then I'm kind of screwed. And I also have to get a 55-inch television out of my room that has been dead for over a year. But I've been putting it off because every time I lifted my arm up, it was painful. So I got that taken care of. But as soon as I got that taken care of, I got in a motorcycle accident.
Man. Gosh, you just can't seem to catch a break. No pun intended.
No, I really can't, man. My mom and me have been saying for years, if I didn't have bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all.
Have the same pose. And Skywalker he's done a workout today, and he's rewarding himself with a steak mac and cheese. That sounds good.
Oh, sign us up that. I like doing weird stuff with food now. I don't know why, but I've been really watching a lot of this reverse stuff. Have you ever heard of it?
Reverse?
Like reverse foods?
No, I haven't. I've never heard of that.
Okay, so the one that I'm most interested in is this. Okay, so you make a big meatball, right?
Okay.
Like a good sized meatball. And then you make spaghetti, normal spaghetti.
Yeah.
And what you do is you wrap the meatball in the spaghetti and you put it in like a Ziploc bag and make sure it's a round shape at the bottom. And then you freeze it. Once you froze it, you now take it and you dip it in this bread batter and you fry it up.
Oh my goodness.
And then you roll it in garlic butter and put Parmesan cheese on top. And it's like a big ball of pasta with your bread, your garlic, your cheese, your meat, all in one.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. That doesn't sound too appealing, to be honest.
I don't know.
But
I'm just tired of eating food, the same food over and over and over again.
because you have a rather limited diet, don't you?
Yep, and not to mention, I haven't had teeth in about 5 years. I
Oh
don't have
yeah.
any front teeth to bite down on anything. I just have like my canines back. My front teeth are gone.
Oh man.
So like it's ridiculous. I'm about to go get them all pulled and just get dentures because I'm just so sick and tired of not having teeth.
Yeah, that's I can't imagine what that's like.
It's basically a cereal and oatmeal and bread diet because like you can you can rip apart stuff with your canine teeth still, but if you're trying to eat chicken wings
Oh
or
man.
ribs or corn on the cob, you ain't
Yeah.
doing it without your front teeth.
No.
It ain't happening.
No. It's so easy to take it for granted as well to
Yep.
have teeth. How do you manage with your those cookies that you made? Forgot what they're
Oh,
called.
I yeah. When I eat
You
those, I bite them with my canine teeth, and then once I got a piece, I can chew them with my molars. But even my molars are deteriorating. Like like because of the medication I was on when I was young, it turned all my teeth into chalk.
Oh man, now that
What
sounds
is
horrible.
Silent doing? Skywalker wants to know what you're doing, and we got 6 people watching and 5 likes already.
All right, thank you guys for that. So right now, in lieu of any actual Lego builds, I'm continuing working on these 3D printed go karts I started continuing last night. So I've got a whole bunch of these to make. I've already 3D printed the parts, and I'm just putting them together.
Man, you know how many sets on AliExpress that I seen in the last week that are all new that I want so bad? It's ridiculous. Like
Yeah, I've seen
absolutely ridiculous.
I've seen a few things that would be really good to do in a live stream. For example, I've seen a few of these animal astronaut sets. There's one where
Hmm.
they're in a panda,
Yeah, the
and
bear and the panda. That's sick.
well, I'm pretty sure somebody else, at least one other person, has already done those for a live stream. But those would be really cool.
Yeah, Skywalker said he had something similar happen. Yeah, they don't they don't test this medication as properly as they should, and they put it out on the market, and then they don't tell you years down the road, oh, this eats your liver, this eats your kidneys, this eats your stomach, this eats your esophagus, this eats your teeth. They just don't
Yeah.
tell you all that stuff.
No. Well, touch wood and thank goodness I haven't had that much experience with medication. But whenever I've been to the GP, they've usually been really eager to push some kind of some medicine or some pill.
Well, it's all this mind altering drugs that do this to you, right? Like it's for depressions and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What's up, second?
We got Stroheim the second. Thanks for joining us. I can attest though that antidepressants are the last thing anybody wants to be on.
Well, they just turn you into a zombie, man. It sucks.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean,
Like
I go ahead.
if I was schizophrenic and I needed them, I would take them, right? But you know, I just don't think it was right that they make children take them because the truth is this: boys have always been rowdier than girls.
Yep.
Always. They always have had the least amount of attention span when it comes to school. So instead of you as a teacher just being fed up with the rowdiness and saying, "Oh, these kids all need to be on drugs. They got ADD or ADHD or all this kind of stuff like this." It's like, why don't you let these boys run around for an extra 10 minutes?
Well, from my understanding, what's happened is that the education system has been changed after a while to make it more friendly for young girls. And so
Yeah,
so the activities that boys like to do, going out and playing on the apparatus and whatnot, that was considered bad. And so instead of addressing that, I guess the idea was, how can we calm these boys down to make them more like girls, I suppose.
yeah. And I just think they need to get them to run around the school freaking 10 times before they go back into the class.
Yeah,
Then they'll be exhausted and tired, and maybe they won't be so focused, but they might be more focused because of that, right?
right.
They got no choice. They're tired now.
And ironically, we've been hearing for the last few years about an obesity um, pandemic, or whatever the word is.
Cities always have started fast food every day.
That is true.
Like I can't even tell you how many parents I know raise their kids on McDonald's chicken McNuggets, and it's like, why?
I've
Why
seen it.
did you do that?
I've seen it myself, and it's well,
Like,
I don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't understand it whatsoever because um, first of all, it's fried food. You can't have your kid eat fried food 3 times a day. You know, it's all going to turn into fat.
I think there's a couple of things going on there. First is that it's relatively inexpensive, I suppose, and quick, just to give your kids a chicken nugget from whatever fast food place. But also, how many people know how to cook anymore?
Okay, so I went in this store. It's called Red Apple, and this kid didn't even know how to count how many items I had.
No way.
I'm not even joking you. And then when he said, "How are you paying?" I said, "Visa." He turned around to the lady and said, "Is that a credit card?" This kid must have been like 21 to 25 years old.
No.
And I'm sitting there thinking in my head, we have doomed all our children by taking away everything that we have learned over the years. I kind of think it's bullshit because my mom has double the education I had when I was a kid, when I should have had double her education. Things should have advanced, not digressed, you know?
I mean, that. I mean, it is quite depressing to me, to be absolutely honest. And I can't help thinking about the job market at the moment. How you've got these people with a lot of experience, a lot of qualifications, and even they're having a tough time finding work now. But then we look at
Well,
the kinds of people who have jobs.
look, I always told people this. I will shovel shit until I find a better job as long as I still have a job. You know?
Yes.
Like I would literally take any job out there. I don't care what it is, if I have experience in it or not. I will take that job and I will do that job until I can find a better job that I
Yeah.
like or want to do. All these people out there say there's no jobs out there, but there's jobs out there. You just might not want that job right now, right? What's
That
up,
is
Magic?
true.
Like,
They do chances. That's true.
if I need to feed myself and pay rent, I will work at Burger King or McDonald's or whatever, just until I can find that job. You know, I
Mm.
know it makes life a little bit more stressful because you're doing a job you don't want to do, but the the best thing is that you're still getting a paycheck. right? And then you can work on that afterwards. Like when you're not working, you could be looking for that job that you want.
Absolutely.
You're gonna have to wait for it, and you're gonna have to keep applying for it. And I tell that to other people too. If you want to work at HMV in the mall, and that's what you want to do for your life, and you keep on handing your resume in, and they don't want to hire you, go in there every day and hand in your resume. Determination shows.
Oh yeah. I think that's something we call work ethic as well, even
Yeah.
when it comes to applying for the job.
Like when I was young, all my friends were like, "Oh, I can't find a job." When I lost a job, I'd fill my whole backpack up with resumes, and I go to the mall first, always to the mall first, because you can hand out resumes everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And then I'd hit all the factories around that mall, and then I'd go to the factory districts and hand out resumes. By the time I got home, I had messages on my phone asking when I could start or can I come in for an interview. And I'm like,
Nice.
what do you mean there's no jobs? I just got 10 offers and I just went out for one day. It literally is an unpaying job to find a job.
Exactly. It really is. And I've been in that situation more times than I would like, and I can say that eventually I did manage to land a job, but it was a job in and of itself.
I still think you got a like a chance at doing some voice acting or at least audiobook voiceover things, you know?
Yes. Well, I know. I know that I would have to do some training naturally, but it's definitely something I think I should look into. As a matter of fact, I'm going to write that down before I forget.
You know what I think schooling should be nowadays? And this is just my opinion. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say I became a teacher in geography. For just let's just say for Canada alone. That's my specialty, Canadian geography, right?
Yep.
So if I did this and I passed my class and all of a sudden 10 around the country of being a geography teacher, I should do a video lesson for the whole year, right? And then I think they should just hire teachers as not teachers, but as bodyguards and helpers for the classrooms. My lesson should be shown on the screen, and then those people that are in school should be just helping out if the
Mm.
kids need any help whatsoever. But I think that should be for every single subject. There should be the best of the best teaching our kids.
Yeah, that makes sense actually, because from what you've described, so from what you described, it's teachers helping each other teach the kids.
Yep. Because
Yeah.
listen, if I'm a geography teacher and I'm out of tune with I've been teaching for 20 years and I'm out of tune with what's up to date, I would want the person that has graduated with honors and knows more than I'll ever know to teach my class.
Yes.
Same with math, same with science, same with everything.
Let's also consider as well that different children will respond to different ways of teaching differently.
Well, that's why I say there should still be teachers in the class, but they should be more like moderators
Right.
and helpers to keep the kids from, going crazy while the lesson's playing and to be there if they have any questions, right?
Yeah.
But the best lessons should be taught by the best teachers through video. Like, I'm pretty sure every classroom has a TV now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. The TV or some kind of monitor,
Yeah.
something like that.
Bye, Skywalker. But yeah, I think that we should be doing better because I think back to the times in the 1950s and 60s when uh, the world fairs, and it was all about the age of tomorrow.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
we still haven't even got to those parts of
not
what they were thinking of in the 50s and 60s.
not even close.
It's ridiculous. Meanwhile, we had the blueprint right there for a better world. And what did we do with it? We went commercialized and sold our souls to products.
Indeed. I think that's part of the problem though, that yeah, there were these visions of the world of tomorrow, but I think too many of us looked to other people to make it happen.
I agree, but I also look at it this way: any visionary today gets shot down within a second, and a corporation buys their idea and says you can't ever talk about or do it or use it ever again. And people
Yeah,
but take that bio 1,000%.
yeah. I suppose it depends what the vision is.
Yeah.
If it make things better, then yeah, we probably don't want to talk about that too much.
Well,
If
look
it,
at the nuclear diamond battery. A university created a nuclear diamond battery out of toxic waste. Battery is like the size of a 9 volt, and it will power your whole house for generations of people without having to be charged. That just solved the whole world's energy crisis. What did you do? You bought it and threw it in the garbage.
indeed, because that would threaten the energy industry.
Yeah, but I say screw them guys. You know what? It happens in business all the time. You have a good product, all of a sudden it doesn't sell. Now you got to come up with something else. Plain and
Yep.
simple. Take your billions and billions of dollars and invest in apartment buildings or condos. You'll always have a revenue.
But for those people, it's not about producing better products. It's about how they can continue to make money.
Yep. Well, like I said, if we all of a sudden got free energy because of nuclear diamond batteries, and I'm a huge company that sells energy, the first thing I'm going to do is be like, okay, well, I'm going to go invest into homes because now I can at least rent them and still make an income.
Right. So you
And
you actually,
everybody needs homes because we keep on expanding our world.
yeah. What's
Hello,
going on there?
Alexandria.
Alexandria. Excuse me. Um, yeah, the idea of building new, more places to live. I mean, I personally would think of solving quite a few problems we have right now by, encouraging people to own their own property now. Why not just have a whole bunch of places built and essentially give it to people or make them really affordable?
Yep. Well, that's the problem, that it's not affordable. And I know this from business. Selling at a minimum profit, more of that product makes you way more money than selling that product very
Yeah,
expensive.
yeah,
Okay. Because you know what you have to do when you sell something really expensive? You have to hire someone to go and make calculations to see how much you can take that down little by little by little. And every time you got to take it down, you got to hire that person to do that so that you're still making a profit. But you're also paying someone now. Hey,
yeah.
it don't make no sense.
I just think I mean, along with that, I just think a lot of the problems that we have right now with, the way that people treat places that they live, it comes down to the idea that they don't own anything, they don't have any pride in anything.
Oh, they
And I think,
own something. I can tell you what every person on this planet owns right now.
what do they own?
Debt. They all
Oh,
own debt.
oh, okay, you got me there. Uh, okay, yeah, I'd agree with that. So, I mean, if they own something tangible, of course. If they, let's say, for example, if somebody owned their own property and they had a nice front garden or whatever, they had a car in the garage, they'd be really proud of it, and I would think they would have more appreciation for other people's property.
You'd think.
Yeah, I would think so.
I watch people in my city buy houses and destroy them within a year because they don't even know how to clean.
Ah, well,
They don't know how to take care of their lawn. They just aren't educated in the simplest things that every person on this planet should know.
well, maybe I'm being naive in that front then, because I would have thought if it'd be different to renting, of course, but if you actually owned the place, then you
The
would.
only people I know that literally take care of their stuff are rich people, and they hire people to take care of it for them. So they're not even really doing it, right? Like,
Okay, yeah, that is true. But even thinking about that, if I was in a position where I could hire somebody to clean and maintain the property, which I probably would do, that's creating jobs.
yep.
So my naive self would think that things may start to work themselves out that way.
The only thing anything is going to work out for anybody is if we do it ourselves nowadays. We have to be self-made, all of us, because no one wants us to be made. The rich don't want us to be made.
No,
The companies don't want us to be made. The government doesn't want us to be made. They This whole last 20 years was building us up to live in fear of everything.
oh yeah, well, you've seen how things have unfolded.
Yep. Well, I still say that the best line in any movie is from V from Vendetta. The people are scared of the government, but the government should be scared of the people.
Oh yeah,
But it's
yeah.
not that way.
Well, I completely agree with that sentiment. Unfortunately, there are too many people, to borrow another line from the movie, that have invested so heavily in the system that they'll fight to defend it.
You think it's insane there, Alexandria? Okay, the average person on disability welfare or old age pension in Canada makes about $750 a month. Rent for a small one-bedroom apartment is $1,600 a month plus hydro and gas. And hydro could be up to $600 a month in the wintertime. So yeah, not to mention for one person to eat properly, and this is properly, having 3 meals a day here in Canada, they estimate that's about $1,400 a month.
So 1,400 on top of the 1,600 for the apartments,
You
and
would
then
need to, yeah, you would need to make at least $4,000 a month to live comfortably, and that's not saving a dime.
mm,
And I got to do it all on $750. Now, thank God I'm in Windsor housing. My rent is only $139, and the government kicks in the rest. But if I wasn't, I'd be paying $900 for this cell that I live in.
and it is sickening. But the people who set this up, they have no idea what it's like.
We People on disability are 930% behind cost of living right now. 930%. And people don't realize you could lose it all. You could be a millionaire right now today, get in an accident or get a disease, become part of the disability world, spend every dime that you have on trying to get better, and then have absolutely nothing, and then have to live the same way I do. And you guys don't care. Everybody gets old. You should care. Everybody can get sick or hurt. You should care.
Yeah.
And the sad part is that there's sick people in here that are dying. Okay, there's people that are crippled like me. There are people with learning disabilities and like mental situations, and we have to live in a stressful neighborhood with people doing drugs and stealing and stabbing and killing each other constantly. How is that fair for
Well,
our ability to get better? How am I going to get better when all I think about is if I leave my house for 20 minutes, is it getting broken into?
ultimately, it's that you're not meant to get better.
Yeah. And the whole thing is, I've always wanted to get better. I was
Yeah.
on my road to getting better. And life happens again. I got hit on my motorcycle again.
Mm.
So starting all over.
Well, Skywalker's got an important message for you.
All right. What's your important message?
Okay.
Eternity says hi. I stopped in his stream before I came in here and I told him I just popped in for a minute to support the channel and hit that like button. I do my best to always, if I see someone streaming, to go in there for, even if I only got a minute,
Yeah,
to hit that like button.
that's cool. I mean, I gotta know what kind of special sauce this Eternity person has, because he's obviously got people talking about his stream, and they'll
Oh,
fight him.
he's
Yeah.
just got a good personality, man, and he goofs around with his people and all that kind of stuff like that, right? And you know he's just got one of them personalities, and it works for his channel.
All right.
But
That's
he's also got a lot of complications that we don't have, and I think the trade-off isn't worth it, right? Like I could seriously change my attitude and my demeanor and be all goofy and funny if I want to. But as soon as I start doing that, I'm going to get the same problems he has with the rowdy people that aren't listening, that aren't respecting the channel, or aren't respecting the other people. Hello, mother.
Hello, Mom. I am not from the north of England. I am from good old London, born and raised.
My mom was born in England.
How did she end up in Canada?
My grandfather was part of the British Army, and then he joined the Canadian Army.
Okay. Okay.
So they moved to Canada.
Hmm.
Hello, my mother. Um, where were you born again? Immigrated. Yeah. Hey, Tristan.
Hello, Tristan.
No. I want to know, not the Canadian Air Force. I want to know where you were born in England. Darwin.
Darwin. I'm not sure where that is. Sounds as if it could be in the north, close to Ireland or Scotland somewhere.
Darwin. Yeah. But where is that near?
Let me have a look.
I know there's what, 4 parts to the UK? Or is it
Yes.
3?
Well,
4?
there's England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
Okay, so Darwin is in Lancashire, which
Yeah.
is where? Somewhere, I would guess somewhere in the middle of the UK.
What are we up to, Tristan? We are just hanging out talking about stuff. Blackburn.
Okay, so yeah, northeast of England.
We were talking about how education has failed all our kids and all the people under 30 now. And how I went to a store today and this kid didn't even know what a Visa was. He had to ask them if it was a credit card. And he couldn't count how many items I had when I told him. I looked at him. I said, I got 4 shirts and I got 4 of these little Lego packs. And he counted them like 4 times each.
Hold on, you didn't try to confuse him by buying 20 of them at a time, did you?
Yes, he was a cashier. He was in training. And you could tell the 60-something-year-old woman that's training him was so annoyed. Like, and then she even said, these kids don't even know how to cook. And the kid says, my mom cooked for me. Like I said, he's like 25 years old, at least.
Oh boy.
I'm like, bro.
Well, that's also failing on the parents' part, and I'd hazard to guess the single parents' part now. They should be
Well,
teaching kids to cook.
he's a kid from the Middle East, and the parents don't let them do that stuff.
Oh,
I know it's different in England. But the kids here, they basically get to do anything they want to, and there's no repercussions because all these people think that their sons are princes and their daughters are princesses.
hmm.
Like the reality of the real world has not hit these kids whatsoever. Not to mention, when they come here, they form groups of family, or they already have all their family, and they all live in one house together. Everybody gets jobs, and they all contribute to buy another house. And they don't move in that house right away. They rent it out, right? And then they
Okay.
keep doing that until they got enough houses for every family. But they also do that with their cars, right? They'll buy the most expensive cars in the dealership, and they'll all use that as a community until they can afford another one and another one and another one and another one. It's a good solid way to make sure everybody succeeds, but it hurts the Canadian economy because you are now getting more than everybody else.
Yes, I was just thinking that it's initially it makes sense, but it does as you say affect the economy because the money that they're spending isn't really doing anything or going anywhere.
No, like it doesn't contribute, and not to mention billions of dollars get sent back to the Middle East every year. That is Canadian money, and the government's like, "Where's the money at?"
Yeah.
Well, they sent it away. That's where.
We had some well, we generally have things like that going on with the different waves of immigrants over here.
Look, if I got 10 friends, and even if they have just part-time jobs, and we decide to move into a house, by the end of the year, the house would be paid for. Then we can buy another house and do the same thing.
Yeah.
Everybody can do that, but the problem with the rest of the world is that we don't trust each other enough to do that.
No.
And that's all because of social media and internet and their influence on us. Meanwhile, all the fear that we have should have been directed towards our own governments.
Well, social media has been one of the biggest forms of distractions that we've had in a long time.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
I was just thinking about it quite recently, actually. That I mean, there's a few ways we can look at it. There's the idea now that just about anybody can be whether it's content creator, online celebrity, whatever term you want to think about. There's this idea that anybody can do it, but if you look at what's available, only a small section of people are actually successful at it.
Yeah. Look, if I was the type of person that was making, let's say, even $250,000 a year, I
Yeah,
would up my lifestyle to about $50,000 a year. That rest of that money, I would invest in building modular homes uh, on the farmland that the Canadian government has bought and put in greenhouses. And now 90% of the farmland isn't being used. So I would buy that and I'd build small communities off the highway for people that are old age that can retire to and have some peace and not live in the city and be scared shitless of all these wild kids that don't even know how to cook an egg, scaring the crap out of them all the time, you know?
see, that's a solid idea, and they would never let you do anything like that because it actually helps people.
Yeah. But I would make it so that even in this community, I keep it so that it was a part of nature. I keep it where there's lots of trees and everything else like that. But every single road and street would have a cover over top of it, and it would be interlocking panels, right?
Hmm.
One would be clear, one would be solid, but that solid one would have a solar panel.
Makes sense.
So it would be on this side, it would be dark, this side would be light, and then over here, light, and then dark. And it would be interlocking like a checkerboard all the way through, and it would cover the whole street. Okay, the cars would be covered. If snow happened, there'd be no snow on the roads whatsoever.
Yeah,
Okay, and I would have it so that cars couldn't even be driven in this area. You would have to use electric golf carts in that type of area. So you take away all that speed and all that danger of a car running through your house, or because a lot when they're old or disabled like me, I don't want them driving vehicles that can kill people. So you just get golf carts that are community golf carts that you can just get on and ride whenever you need to. If you got to go up to the pharmacy or the store, you just take the golf cart.
yeah, I would go for that. That sounds like an awesome idea.
I do too. I think it's a great idea, man, because like then you start filling up the land that hasn't been used. Okay. And then off the highway, because in Canadian highways, all we got are these little rest stops, right? And there's nowhere to actually get stuff. Like, what if you are taking a trip and you need something that you forgot, like a barbecue? Let's say you forgot your barbecue, right? Where are you going to go? You're going to have to pull off and go into a city and buy it. But
Mm,
instead, you could just be on the highway, pull over into a big Walmart, get groceries, get your barbecue, get your clothes, whatever you forgot. But behind that, have it all these little tiny, like I'll call them hobbit homes because basically that would pretty much be what it is, but modern day stuff, right?
yeah, yeah. Well,
And again, those people wouldn't have to go far to get all their groceries or their clothes or whatever they needed, right? They wouldn't have to go far.
it kind of reminds me of a concept that was around when I was, well, quite a bit younger. The idea of an out of town supermarket or something like that.
Yeah. But
And you do, yeah,
it's always going to make profit just from the town alone, not to mention the traffic it would get from the highways, but because of the town, the little small town, and I'm talking at the maximum 4,000 people, no more than 4,000 people for each one of these, and spread out. Not you
yes,
know, people need to have breathing room, especially when they're old, but they
oh yeah,
also need to have simplicity for homes,
mm,
right? So like space it all out, and again, like I said, you got golf carts. You can get anywhere. The cars
yeah,
can be parked behind the Walmart in a secure parking lot, which can also be covered with nothing but solar panels. So like you're generating money from solar panels, you're generating from rent income, you're generating from your Walmart. And what do? You open up another one 200 kilometers away and you do the same thing another 200 kilometers away.
The
Get the
idea,
people that don't need the city anymore out of the city.
yeah, the idea of having space is so important, I think, because if you look at what's happening now, it just seems to be this race to cram as many people into a spot as possible. That doesn't make any
Well, that
sense whatsoever.
and I think that idea is for someone that is working and needs somewhere to go, like close to their job and stuff like that, right? You know,
Yeah,
are
I'd
you
say that.
gluing a phone case?
No, I'm using epoxy resin. This is
Oh,
actually this is
I thought
actually
you
my
were gluing a phone case. It looks like a phone case.
well, I actually made a custom case for my phone, and this was just a template to make sure I had the measurements correct. But this is what I should be using to glue these bits together. It works a little bit better than super glue.
I've been
Um,
watching this show called what was it called? Mountain Men. It's called Mountain Men. And basically they all live around Alaska and in the Yukon, where it's the roughest places to live. And they're doing all this stuff, and this guy keeps on making this glue that the Native Americans used to make, and it literally is harder than any epoxy that we make, and it's
yeah.
just made out of like beeswax and sap and um, charcoal and all kinds of stuff, man.
Oh,
And the best part about it is if you heat it up to about 150 degrees, it becomes malleable again. And I'm sitting there thinking, why aren't they using this product everywhere?
too hard to produce, I suppose. That's probably what the manufacturers think.
I don't know about that because, here you have um, people using beeswax to make candles, you know.
Yeah. With all this talk about carbon this and carbon that, it shouldn't be that hard to get charcoal, I suppose, or some form of carbon. So what's okay? So why was the carbon tax introduced in Canada? It does seem as if they are trying to, well, governments in general are just trying to find any excuse to tax people. No, hardly, hardly any chicken. Kind of reminded me of when I go to a supermarket and I wonder why it is that a pack of actual chicken breasts is more expensive than um, I don't know, these chicken steaks that come ready made. Yeah, exactly. Mm, yeah. It's re yeah. Mm. Yeah. It's that marketing talk. Uh, Yeah, McDonald's did that once upon a time. They wanted to brag about using 100% British meat, but that's probably the exact same thing that they've been doing. Yeah. Mm. And that explains why it's so inexpensive. Oh, the bone marrow. Yeah. Mm. Oh my goodness. But even then, just looking at Mayor Hosco's comments in the chats, even then what's considered cheap is now becoming expensive. Mm. What is going on, eh? Yes, I listen to these things, I see these things, and I wonder what the end game is. That much? Yeah. Well, there's been a running joke that when you buy a packet of crisps or chips, you're basically paying for air. I don't think that's ever been more appropriate. Yeah. How simple is it? Okay. How would um how would you flavor those chips? Okay. Okay. I don't think we have dill pickle over here. We used to have pickled onion, which I guess is the closest thing, but no, no. It is completely different. I think it's because yeah. Yes, I can imagine that would be quite good actually. I think I think though over here we've been conditioned to not like pickles. Yeah, I admit it. I didn't. Well, it's not that I didn't ever like them. I guess I was conditioned to believe that they weren't good, so I would take them out whenever I had them. But then I tried them one day. I realized they're not so bad after all. Yeah, I've actually went to an orchard a couple of years ago, and I grabbed some pickles from there, or um, some cucumbers, some small cucumbers, and I tried making my own pickled cucumbers, I should say. Haven't tried them yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Um, oh yeah, yeah, you could say food compressor. Uh, sucks the air out. Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. I can hear you. All right, Alexandria, can you hear us? Well, I will say, Alexandria has been incredibly supportive. Just about everybody I've seen. Oh, I, I can hear you. I mean, that is strange. Hmm. No, no, not at all. You're using your phone for the stream, aren't you? You didn't touch anything. I have no idea what it could be then. Hmm. Yes, for everybody listening right now, we have no idea what's happened. I'm not sure why you guys can hear me and not Never Too Old, but hopefully things will be resolved at some point. Yeah. Hey, that is not a bad thing at all. Um, All right, let me think of something. As we know, we're approaching the end of the month, and we've got to watch out for April the 1st. And I have to say, I haven't really been impressed with any of these recent attempts at April Fool's jokes. But what would you say has been your favorite April Fool's joke? April Fool's joke. Oh, oh no. Yeah, yeah. that's, that's a good one. Oh, oh my goodness. That's a good one. Let me see. Okay, Alexandria. That's just cruel. But that is funny too. Yeah, they still can't hear you for some reason. I'm not sure what to do. Hmm. But yeah, it definitely seems to be a YouTube problem as to why you guys can't hear Never Too Old for some reason. Okay. Let me see. I'm gonna try muting myself and let's see if that makes a difference. Okay. Nothing? Dear. Um suppose the only thing I can suggest is maybe you create another stream. All right. Okay then. All right, folks, we're going to try and create another stream so we can hopefully resolve these issues with Never2old4lego. So stay tuned.